unhinged debate breaks the internet and may have ended one online grifter's entire career. We're going to break this down, and I usually say so much more, but in this case, we're really only talking about this one silly thing that I meant to get to this past week, but didn't, in this bonus episode of the Bread vs. Everyone podcast, our daily show where we take on the craziest stories from across social media and the internet, all from an independent political perspective. Guys, thanks so much for joining me for this special bonus episode. I hope you're having a great Saturday. But I wanted to talk about this during the week and I just didn't get to it. But there was this huge debate hosted by, I think, a new organization called World War Debate, where they brought a number of online political figures together for these kind of raucous IRL debates. And the main debate that caught my attention was a debate on the question of feminism between the left-wing journalist and commentator Ana Kasparian, who is an executive producer of The Young Turks and a pretty prominent advocate and debater, who is not entirely, she's got some nuance, but she's generally supportive of feminism. And then you have Pearl Davis, who has very much fallen off, but for a time was an internet sensation as part of, I don't even know how to describe it, maybe the red pill movement, sort of adjacent to that. But her whole shtick was just about how women are terrible and to blame for all of the problems and how men are terrible, oppressed victims. And I always found it tiring, but I always found her more than anything just unimpressive, right? Like not good at even articulating a position for her views, because obviously there are very real problems with feminism and modern dating, and there are serious issues facing men, and they're not everything is fair or even or equal. But she always seemed to really not have much depth or substance to her. And that was confirmed by this debate, I'll just say. So I pulled a couple clips from it that we're going to watch. And it's brutal to just, I described it like this. It felt like I was watching something dirty. I watched the whole thing, something I'm not supposed to see, or something sick or wrong. Like, imagine what it would feel like to watch The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, beat the shit out of a special needs midget. That's what it was like to watch Ana Kasparian debate Pearl Davis. And that's not even to say whether you agree with one side or the other. It's just a mismatch. And whether you like Ana or not, she's very sharp, very bright, very good at debating, and Pearl is none of the above. Sorry, not sorry. It's just the truth. There's no denying it after some of the clips we're going to watch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first one here.
Aside from the specific anecdote that you shared, which of course is tragic, can you cite some actual studies that look at the statistics and back up what you say in regard to the outcomes of marriage and divorce in America?
Pretty simple request, right? You're making all these claims about marriage and divorce and socioeconomic outcomes. Can you give us some sources, some studies, right? This is a debate you presumably prepared for, though she really just read straight from her paper the whole time, barely looking up. And pretty straightforward request. Did not get a straightforward response.
41% of 109 rape cases reported to police in a Midwestern city were admitted to be false by complainants.
In one Midwestern city? And which Midwestern city was that?
You know, you can go from your ivory tower and tell
I'm not in an
people
ivory
what to
tower.
think
I'm
and
on
how
this
to
debate
feel.
stage interrogating your assertions, and you've only provided an anecdote.
You can go through.
So let's just pause on that for a moment. So Pearl is talking about false rape accusations, which of course are terrible. They're horrific. It's a horrific thing to accuse someone. You could ruin their life if you're lying. But she starts making this claim about this city where some portion of accusations were proven to be false. And like Ana just asks her basic follow-up questions. What city? What's the source for this? Like, and she doesn't know. Because she just chat GPT'd or whatever, put together, write me an essay making this point, and didn't do any thorough research of any kind. Or she would know, oh, well, this was a 2012 study into Minneapolis, published by the journal so-and-so. Like, it's just basic research, people. It's not that hard if you're going to hold yourself out as a professional political commentator and debater. Geez Louise, do the bare minimum before you go on stage. You're going to get humiliated like Pearl did, whether you agree with her side of the debate or not, whether you are an anti-feminist. And I'm somebody who's more in the middle. Obviously, I support traditional feminism and equality and equal rights and all of that. But I think modern feminism obviously was infused with like left-wing toxic politics in many ways and butted head against things I care about, like due process in some of the Me Too stuff and all of that. So there's pieces of each argument I could be open to, but one side was making, a well put together case. The other side was reading from a Grok printout. They didn't even understand what they were talking about and done no research. It was truly pitiful stuff, and we haven't gotten to the worst part. But do make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button while you're at it, and consider becoming a channel member to support my independent, hard-hitting journalism into things like Pearl Davis getting humiliated on stage. No, but seriously, it's super, super easy to become huge on YouTube and make millions of dollars if you just pander to one side. But when you try to be honest and call out BS on the left and right, it's a little harder. So do become a channel member at the link in the description, or just hit the join button on screen if you're watching on YouTube to help support my work. Now let's keep watching Pearl here implode in 4K. Well, really in like 360p, because the copy of the stream I had wasn't great, but you get my point.
Go through the facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not manipulation. Those are the stats.
There are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
I think there may be more than 1.6 million men in this country. Did she just misstate that?
Suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it? Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, it clearly is. So Pearl's like making a claim about male suicide, which is of course terrible and a pressing issue, but she's using it to portray like male victimhood and men have it so tough. So Anna asks, well, what's the rate for women? And Pearl doesn't know it. It's like, this is basic stuff. You should have this. This is also her job, right? Like, this is all she does, is push this, like, men are victims, women are terrible kind of content and argument. She barely talks about anything else. So yeah, you should probably know this, especially in your debate prep. And it's not a gotcha to just ask you for basic factual comparisons, but she just totally imploded. It actually gets tough to watch at parts, this debate.
Force. They're in the police force. My sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs. There's videos on the internet everywhere of women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up?
No.
Awkward.
Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously. Next question.
Oh, Anna's just like, what are you doing? Next question. She just has nothing. It's sad. Why would you agree to do this debate? And apparently, from what I've heard, she thought it was going to be easy and she was going to smoke this feminist and then not do any research or have any arguments or sources prepared at all. It's just so obvious that Pearl it's just a grifter. She just realized she could get clicks and views by just blanketly shitting on women with no nuance and these broad declarations. She loves to like make claims about how like, this percentage of women have an STD now. And it's like, bitch, who gave them it? Like, obviously, men and women are both doing this thing. So she's so one-sided. She lacks nuance. And she just realized she could get digital fame / infamy that she could monetize or carve a path into relevance from by just demonizing one side. And she's just so sloppy and not intelligent. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that as an insult. It's just obvious. Like I can see when somebody who I disagree with is smart and in command of the facts and when they're not. And I can see the same for somebody who I agree with. Like, you're not making the best arguments there. Or I have the same view as you, but you could be doing better. It's like if I was an anti-feminist conservative woman or whatever, though even they don't like Pearl. Like she really has managed to upset everyone except a tiny portion of men that likes her, I guess. I would really not want this person advocating for me and my beliefs because she does such a terrible job at it. But let's keep going here.
Next question.
She just freezes. Like you almost have to feel bad for her, except I don't at all.
Women fly planes, they crash them. Women aren't CEOs.
What are the stats on
most
that?
Female.
What are the
most
stats
female
on that?
You know, it's like feminists. They want stats that say water is wet. The
Yeah,
sky
I
is
want
blue.
empirical evidence
Right,
to back up your arguments.
Because
Oh my gosh. So she makes the claim that female pilots are crashing planes left and right. And Anna's like, okay, do you have data to suggest that female pilots are less safe than male pilots? Because I don't think that's true. Maybe there's some statistical difference, but not much. Plane crashes are incredibly rare. And all right, what's your source to make a claim like that? Women are crashing planes left and right. And then, all right, source? What's your stat? And she's like, oh, they want a source for water is wet. No, actually, it's pretty hard to become a pilot. And while we could talk about DEI and some of the process that I don't necessarily support, and I've covered that on the channel before, but yeah, actually, female pilots are not, in fact, crashing planes left and right. And so to compare that to observing water is wet is just a sign that you're a low information, bad faith troll, Pearl. Really. I'm sorry. This is just a little microcosm, this one exchange, of how ridiculous this person is and how ridiculous it is that she was ever taken seriously by anyone. Other than that, she's doing amazing.
Arguments.
Because you want to be in control of telling people what to think and how to feel.
No, I want to be in reality.
Oh my God, you want to tell people what to think and how to feel. No, she's asking you for factual basis for the claims you're making. Like, this is so woke. This is what pisses me off. Pearl is like anti-feminist woke, right? She's saying, I don't need a source. That's my truth. No, shove it. You need a source if you're going to make factual claims about entire demographics of hardworking professionals, actually. And it's not, you're invalidating my feelings. Yeah, because they're bullshit. Like, okay, yes, I am invalidating your feelings because your feelings aren't frickin' valid. Too bad, so sad, Pearl.
Reality. I want to live in a fact-based reality. That
Go off,
requires
Queen.
empirical evidence, not your assertions.
300. We all saw that plane crash on the East Coast. No one's making that up, Anna.
You do better when you're reading off your paper, so I'll give you some time to do that.
Yeah, you can't cite one plane crash as an incident, as an example. Also, pretty sure she's talking about a helicopter incident, but where they hit a plane. But yeah, okay, you could cite, that's not data. That doesn't support your claim that female pilots are bad at flying planes because you found one instance of one female pilot making a mistake and causing a crash. You could find a male pilot. You could find a Buddhist pilot making a mistake causing a crash. You couldn't then extrapolate that Buddhist people make bad pilots. That's not, this is like kindergarten level logic. And this person made a career out of this. And somehow, at one point, had millions of people following them. Wild.
In the future, because I'm sure you'll find yourself in more of these debates, I actually think that you could be an incredible debater. But you need to look at the broader picture, not just rely on anecdotes, and don't make things up out of full cloth.
Okay.
So she's calling Anna, like, she's saying this is nagging? I really don't think it is. It's like basic debating and serious thinking, I guess, because that's what I'm hearing. It's like, oh, she's telling you need to have facts and evidence to support an argument. Is that nagging? Doesn't seem like nagging to me. It seems like basic seriousness from a person who considers themselves a political commentator. You should try it sometime, Pearl. Now, there were a couple moments in the debate that just, you low-key just felt bad for Pearl because Anna, listen, we disagree on lots of stuff, but she is sharp and she has a high verbal IQ, if you know what I mean. She catches things and she's good with off the cuff. And then Pearl is the opposite, like the complete opposite. And there were a couple moments where Anna just savagely burned her, like this one. Listen up.
I mean,
That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye, you spend money on Botox, you spend money.
You should think about it.
Anna, ooh! Ay, ay, ay. Oh, Pearl. That one is one where I felt like Anna just did her dirty, cooked her up. You could have taken the high road there, Anna, and maybe not kicked the dog while she was down. Guys, there's one more clip here that I want to show you. This one is serious, but again, shows you what a ridiculous argument and debate this all was. Let's watch.
Commentators can, they can try to minimize it. They can talk from their ivory towers and pretend it's not happening, but there's a genocide of millions of men that's going on in this country.
I'm sorry. I'm going to let her finish. But what are you talking about? There's a genocide of millions of men in America. Is the genocide in the room with us?
A genocide?
1.6 million men commit suicide, have committed suicide since 1970.
Okay, I mean, that's a horrible statistic, and every one of those lives lost is a tragedy, but that's not what genocide means. Like, a genocide is the systematic destruction of a group of people, like exterminating people and eliminating, not people killing themselves because of severe mental health issues. That's not what words mean. This is, again, what pisses me off about some of these far-right grifters, is they are indistinguishable from the most insufferable woke people, in that they just make shit up, they care about their feelings and their truth, not the truth, and they wage war on the dictionary and just constantly reinvent stuff and live in their own fantasy. The dictionary, I say this, the dictionary is not supposed to be a choose-your-own-adventure book, babe. So knock it off, right? This is so unserious.
Similar rates of women also attempt suicide, but fail because they usually don't resort to more violent means of ending their own lives. Right, so they'll take pills.
Why is that? Why is it that every time we bring up men, you have to bring up women?
Because we're doing...
Oh my gosh, because your claims are about how men are uniquely oppressed or being targeted in a genocide. And so she's saying, well, women face similar rates of this kind of self-harm, but often survive it. And that's an important distinction and difference. Men most often use guns to take that really tragic decision, and unfortunately that results in a higher percentage of completion, if you know what I mean. Whereas women do pills and other things that are more often reversible, and thank God more of them can be saved. So that is one reason, though not the only reason, that you will see higher rates of that among men than women. And so you're saying, why do you have to bring up women when I'm making a point about men? Because you're claiming men are oppressed. And it's like, well, by this logic, everyone faces that issue. So you're not oppressed. You're claiming men are being genocided, but that doesn't even make sense on its own terms. And then are women as well when that happens to women? It's like, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. She doesn't even understand how an argument is supposed to function. Like, I feel dirty watching this. This is, I feel secondhand embarrassment more than I've felt in a long time watching this woman implode on stage. And guys, I heard tea from somebody that was there that Pearl, they took an intermission at one point and Pearl was backstage crying and they offered her the opportunity to not go back out, but she decided to anyway. Which I guess I respect a little bit, sticking to it and not chickening out, but wow. This is like the most brutal humiliation I've ever seen in a debate.
Because we're doing a comparative analysis here. You can't just throw out statistics without comparing it to what the rates are among women.
What I'm pointing out is, I just pointed out that by 2050, more men will have committed suicide than all of the world wars combined. And your first response was, well, women commit suicide too.
Because it is a problem that is inflicting both sexes in this country. It is a tragedy and should be taken seriously rather than this weird sex war.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely agree with Anna on that point. And just in general, no matter how you feel about the issue, it was no contest. You know, I don't want to start using boxing metaphors or anything like that because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to that kind of sporty stuff. But like, this was a one-hit KO, first round knockout. Honestly, like, felt illegal to watch. This degree of humiliation. It's like, never mind. I was going to say something bad I really shouldn't say. But guys, I thought it was ridiculous. But the takeaway here is simple. Stop falling for grifters who don't know anything, are incapable of doing basic research, and simply exploit your emotions using demagogic rhetoric and terrible anecdotes to build a platform for themselves while pushing a toxic and divisive message. That's who Pearl Davis is, and shout out to you, Ana Kasparian, for proving it to the world once and for all. Now it's on us to listen, observe, and stop taking Pearl ever seriously ever again. That's my take on this, but you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and do consider becoming a channel member on YouTube to support my independent commentary. And that'll be it for this bonus episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk again real soon.